Friday, everybody. Welcome into the PHNX Sports Podcast. You know me. It's your girl.
DJ Mackie P.
And the one, the only, Sean DePaz with our live studio audience.
Chris, CWP in the cut.
Chris and CWP in the house. This is like the third time we've done this with a live studio audience.
I never expected to be having audiences when we did this.
I'm still not used to it. Like the fact that people actually want to sit here and listen to me talk for an hour.
Well, you get
crazy.
to turn away from them. I'm kind of looking at them the whole time.
Yeah. I think so. Feel free to heckle Sean the whole time, by the way.
Throw stuff at me, especially if it's that food that you got there, Totri.
Oh, that was a good one. That was Totri. Totri's a part of the audience now. Shawnee.
Mackie.
How was your week?
It's been hectic. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, this week has been nuts for Arizona sports.
How was yours? You were traveling.
It was good. It was really fun. Sorry I missed last week. I was in Nashville living my cowgirl fantasies. It was amazing, by the way. Nashville's my favorite place on earth. Like, if I could just pick up PHNX and move it to Nashville.
NSVL?
Something like that. Yeah. If we can just cover PHNX Sports like in Nashville, I would do that in a heartbeat.
We don't want to cover the Preds and the Tennessee Titans.
I prefer torture. So, I would like to continue covering.
I was kind of taking a shot at the Tennessee sports teams, but.
Yeah, they're not very good either. So
nah, they're just kind of like mediocre, and that's worse than being bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. I would rather be bad. It gives us something to talk about.
Thankfully, we don't really have any really bad teams in the Valley anymore.
Question mark?
What? Maybe, kind of. All of our teams are okay, maybe.
I know. This week was insane. We've got Diamondbacks stuff. We've got Sun stuff. We've got Cardinals stuff. I guess the only thing we don't really have to talk about is the Coyotes. But
but the Coyotes are looking better than they've looked in a while. So.
Connor Bedard, who?
Connor Bedard's going to finish third in the Calder voting. Write it down. Behind, obviously, Logan Cooley, and then in second, Devin Levi.
I'll take Logan Cooley. Thank you very much.
as CWP flexes his Cody the Coyote shirt. Head to the PHNX locker. Go get yourself a shirt. Get ready for the season.
Before we get into all the stuff that we have planned for you, shout out to everyone in the chat. Otis, Elizabeth, CWP, Zona Tucson. I said Elizabeth already,
you did.
Didn't I? Ryan?
Did you say Ryan?
Yeah, okay. Ryan, what's up, fam? So good to see you all. Hopefully you are in for the long haul because we've got lots to talk about. Also want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Fubo. You guys, you have to click the link in our description right now and sign up for a Fubo subscription. They have 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, news. You can stream live TV from any device. You can get all of your favorite Arizona sports games. And there's literally no better time to sign up for Fubo than right now because they've got college football on there. So you can watch the Wildcats.
We're getting into the best sports season.
I know. Like, this is
all
the
time. Sports are on. You can quite literally get all of them. Listen, for me, the fact that it has Red Zone is good enough for me to sign up.
Yeah.
I love Red Zone.
Red Zone is elite. If you don't watch Red Zone
as
on
a fantasy
Sundays,
football player, like, it's the best way to know anytime your player's in the point scoring area. Red Zone's got it.
My attention span is too short for just one game at a time. So it just keeps me interested.
It's only the interesting parts.
It's like, just see all the good stuff. I freaking love it. My little squirrel brain is just dialed
into Red Zone. And then when it gets to the witching hour, ooh, I get turned. Yeah.
So sign up for Fubo TV, get your Red Zone, get your college football, get your NFL. If you're a tennis person, you can watch the US Open. If you're a golf person, the Ryder Cup's going on right now.
Yes, I wear an Australian
John
hockey
Rahm's
jersey.
Golfing, right?
I believe so, but he's the enemy. He's the enemy this week.
Against who?
The Americans.
Oh.
The Ryder Cup.
That's right.
It's U.S. versus Europe. So, sorry, John Rahm, but you're the enemy this week.
Sorry, John Rahm. Sign up for Fubo. You can click the link in our description or scan that code that you see on your screen. Watch all of your favorite college football and the NFL with Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/PHNX to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. All right, Sean.
Mac.
Let's get into it. Let's get it.
Something big happened this week.
Oh my God. I wasn't anticipating this to happen, but the Deandre Ayton saga is over. We found out earlier this week that the Phoenix Suns have traded Deandre Ayton in a 3-way deal with the Blazers and the Bucks. That includes Deandre Ayton going to the Blazers along with Drew Holiday and Tumani Kamara. Damian Lillard is now going to suit up with Giannis and play for the Bucks. And the Suns, in return, get Jusuf Nurkic
Jusuf Nurkic.
The little Serbian names get me. Jusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nassir Little, and Keon Johnson. Holy cannoli.
Couple of things I got to get off my chest real quick. First off, I hate Grayson Allen. I so very much dislike Grayson Allen. Back when he was at Duke, obviously, if you know where I went to school, Duke, Syracuse, rivals. So I got a lot of him. He was out there tripping motherfuckers like a toddler. I cannot stand him as a person. But he's a decent three-point shooter.
Listen.
I am upset. Also, Giannis and Dame together is terrifying. I just want to put that out there. And then also, R.I.P. the Tumani Kamara era.
Yeah, I
Fun
was.
while it lasted.
I'm gonna expose myself here. I was the most upset about losing Tumani. I'm a Tumani believer. I'm a stan. I was in NBA Summer League, and I was like, "This kid's gonna be so good."
Michaela,
maybe
that's all he did.
He was
Summer League. That's all
I saw the potential. I saw the potential. The potential was there.
Okay, none of the NBA scouts did because he was a second round pick for a reason.
All right.
You're upset about Tumani, not upset about the Valley kid himself, DA, getting traded away.
Listen, DA's time here was very controversial.
I agree. Yeah, it was.
He didn't really give me the warm fuzzies. It was very hot and cold.
No,
along with his performance on the court.
But the last performance we saw on the court was hot as shit with the Bahamas, and I was really hopeful that they were going to be able to work it out. They had figured it out. Or
I will
he
say,
was going to be able to figure it out.
I am disappointed that I won't get to see Frank Vogel work his head coach magic and develop Deandre Ayton, because I do think the reason that I was more excited about Frank Vogel becoming our head coach was because he's so good at developing that raw talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he really could have helped DA. And now we won't get to see that happen. So I'm a little bummed that we don't get to watch that happen.
Yeah.
When I first heard about this trade, my first reaction was, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I think that we downgraded at the center position. I don't think Nurkic is any better than Deandre Ayton as a player. He also gets hurt a lot. He hasn't played more than 57 games since 2018 in a season. So between that and KD's injury proneness, knocking on wood, that makes me a little bit nervous. He averaged 13.3 points per game last season with 9 rebounds and less like 0.8 block per game. I'm not necessarily thrilled looking at that stat line. I'm worried about the Suns because we don't have a point guard. We don't have a true point guard. And I know that there's schemes that they're going to run that get around that. And we also just downgraded at the center position. So I don't really understand what's going on here. That was my first reaction.
Yeah.
And then you add Grayson Allen into the mix, who is a shithead, for lack of a better term. But I guess I would rather have him on my team than play against him, because at least I know he's not going to be intentionally injuring my players.
Yeah.
And then, Nassir Little and Keon Johnson, which is the bench depth that we probably needed. But I was very underwhelmed when I first saw the trade. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, I was of the camp that I as much as I wanted I wanted everything to work out with DA. I think it became clear that it was a little too far gone.
Yeah,
and they needed to move on. First off, maybe Deandre Ayton is at times a better player than Jusuf Nurkic, but this is not. It's not like this is the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. This is our center's our fourth option. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I know we don't have a point guard, whatever, but he's going to be on a court most of the time with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. And if Bradley Beal is your third option, your fourth option is probably not getting a whole lot of touches as far as offense is concerned. So there's that. As far as Nurkic and his availability, DA hasn't played more than 70 games since his rookie year. So it's not like he's been playing 82 games every year. So there's that. I just think ultimately this is going to be better for this is more what the Suns need to do to win. I don't think this is about who's a better player or who got the better players. I think this makes the Suns a better team. Because DA can go up there and average 25 points a game. They're still probably not going to make the playoffs. Yeah. So it's not, I'm not really viewing this as the team got worse, because I don't think that's the case. I think this moves them closer to winning a championship. And like, you need to understand the context in which I am saying this. I'm just saying this to make a point. If trading Devin Booker got them close to a championship,
Shut up.
I would say
Nope,
trade
nope,
Devin Booker.
no,
Obviously, there's no world in
no.
which that's the case. I'm just saying, like, the goal is to win a championship. It's not just to have the 5 best players you possibly can. Like, it's to win a championship, and I think this does get them closer to winning a championship. So, yeah, like you said, I really would have liked to see it work out. I would have liked to see Vogel kind of work his magic there, but ultimately, I don't think it was going to work out like that, and they had to do what they had to do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not the biggest DA stan on the face of the planet. I have obviously been on this podcast very critical of his performances when I felt like it was necessary, because the thing that frustrated me the most with DA is, like, we saw his potential really early on in his career, especially at U of A. And I never really feel like he reached max potential ever.
Yeah.
And I felt like he was very passive about it too. Like, I know that he expressed his frustrations sometimes to the media, and he was aware that he wasn't performing at the level that he knew he could play at. But to me, it just, like, I don't know if it was just because to me it felt like so apathetic, but it just drove me insane. And I just don't know why we could never get the most out of DA, because I mean, obviously, it really started to go downhill when him and Monty Williams had that disagreement on the sidelines during the playoffs last season, 2 seasons ago now.
Yeah. Whatever.
But I'm I'm not sad about losing DA. I'll put it that way. But I just worry about what this team is going to look like. Someone in the comments said there's going to be more moves, right? You would assume more moves are coming. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. As far as the Trailblazers are concerned, I don't understand why they traded for Drew Holiday. So he's going to get traded.
Yeah,
I mean,
Drew Holiday's going to get moved. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you are going to see more point guards move around in the NBA. Whether or not the Suns are involved in that, I have no idea. I'm not Gerald Bourguet, but there will be more moves as far as the NBA is concerned. For sure. Yeah. I want to push back on one thing you said, though, as far as, like, we never got the best out of DA. Like, I say that we did get the best out of DA at times, and that's the most frustrating part, is you did see that he could be one of the best centers in the entire league. Yeah,
consistently. We never got consistent performance out of DA.
That's the problem, is that you saw that so rarely and so few and far between that it was like, it wasn't a question of if he was talented, if he was a good basketball player. It was a question if as Connor was saying, it was all mental with him. Like, it was a question of if he could get there mentally to take advantage of that. And more often than not, it didn't seem like it. It seemed like he was the kind of guy that needed to be in the perfect environment for him to get the best out of him. And this was not that. Yeah. He wasn't the guy like he's been most of his life. He wasn't even the second option. And he was going to come into the season not being the third option, right? Like, so I definitely agree with you in the sense that, like, they needed to move on because they were not getting what they needed out of DA. And I think, again, that's why I think Nurkic is ultimately going to be better for this team, because I think he is going to come into this knowing he is the number 4, right? Like, he at no point really since probably before college was he the number 1, right? So I think he's ultimately going to be a better 4 for this team, a better role player than DA ever could be. Yeah. And that's what the team needs.
Jim Paul Edward De Dios in the comments saying he didn't love ball. He was just good at it. I think that's a great point. I feel like that is the vibe that I definitely got from DA, is like, it was just something that he did, but he didn't ever, like, show, like, that extreme passion for it.
Exactly. I don't think he loved I think he loved basketball. But, like, I don't think he loved it for just, like, what it was. Like, you saw, again, when he was with the Bahamas. Yeah. Like, he balled out. And I think he just needed to be bigger than just the game. Like, he didn't love the game in the way that, like, a Kobe Bryant or Devin Booker loves the game, right? Where, like, you could put him and any other 9 guys in an LA Fitness gym and he's going to go hard. Like, I think it needed to be bigger than that for DA, which I think it probably was at Arizona when he was one of the best players in the country, and it was for when he played for the Bahamas, and it just wasn't that here. Like, it wasn't the DA show for the Suns, and I don't want to necessarily say he was, like, self-centered in that regard, but no. That's not what it was for him. And so, I just don't think it was going to work out here. Ted Offensive in the comments saying DA looks like the guy we've always wanted him in this summer in the Bahamas. Yeah, I think we all are on the same page about that. The DA that was playing in the Bahamas was a different look than what we got with him playing the Suns. Producer Emma, will you scroll up a little bit on the comments? There was one. Colts 23 said Suns should have got some draft picks in an Ayton trade. Okay, I wanted to bring this up because this was a
another reaction that I had when I first saw the trade. I was kind of surprised about what we got back for Ayton. Okay, not surprised. I feel like surprise is not the right word. I feel like it was a reflection of how the rest of the league valued DeAndre Ayton as a basketball player. And I don't think the opinion was very high, which is why you saw the return that you saw, because I think we all here in Phoenix thought that maybe we would be getting more for Ayton, but I think the league was like, no. And also when you go back to when the KD trade rumors were happening and like DA going to Brooklyn was the thing, Brooklyn was like, no, we don't want DA.
Yeah, I mean.
So I feel like it's just like another sign that, you know, his value was maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't Rudy Gobert. Like, he was never going to get that haul. As far as, like, the draft picks versus the players, like, this is a team that's trying to win a championship this year. Draft picks aren't going to do anything for them. They need guys like Grayson Allen, for better or worse. Like, that's just kind of the reality of what they are. They don't really need a rookie like Toumani Camara right now.
Stop that.
They don't. They don't. They're not trying to win a championship this year. And so, and so I think, again, this was a move to get them to be a more well-rounded team, because the top level talent was never the issue with this team. It was the depth and stuff like that. As far as DA's value goes, like, I don't know, with such a complicated trade, it's hard to really analyze how he gets valued. I think John Paul Edward Dios is right. Like, the Suns didn't have a whole lot of leverage in the situation, right? Like, they didn't need to get rid of DA, right? I mean, I guess they did have leverage in that sense. Like, they didn't need to get rid of DA. They could have kept him, but again, I think this is just, it made the Suns it gave the Suns a better chance to win a championship.
Yeah, Connor's saying that DA tanked his value the last two postseasons. That's definitely a fair.
And that's true. Yeah, like, I think there's certain, again, he's not Rudy Gobert. He was not going to receive like star value, and I think if you ever thought that at any point in the last two seasons, you're crazy.
Yeah,
like. That's the one thing. Like, if you were expecting more, I don't really know why. Yeah, because we're talking about trading the fourth best player on this team. Yeah. So I don't know. I wasn't surprised. There was definitely pieces that had gotten floated around that I definitely would have liked more. I think one of the people that was discussed was Shady and Sharp, and that would have been awesome. I would have loved him. Yeah. But ultimately, I'm not surprised that. Like, I didn't expect much of a larger return for DA.
From a money standpoint, I love this. Adrian Yancey in the comments have a similar thought that I do. I do like the trade and us clearing up cap space for the future, but I do feel like more moves are coming to shore up the front line. I hated the monetary value of DA's contract. I think it was bad monetarily. It was not a great decision, just based off of the performance that he had given us so far. I don't think that he had really earned that money. Yeah. So I really wasn't a fan monetarily of his contract, but the Suns we all know that they're a very, very salary heavy team, creeping up on the cap a lot, close to going over.
That's what happens with a super team.
So I do love that we have a little bit more flexibility with salary now. That is another upside to this. And going back to the other upside that I have kind of processed and digested now, because I'm not going to lie, guys, when I saw Grayson Allen's name next to the Suns, I was like, oh.
I can't stand him.
But listen, I think that it is a more well-rounded team now, and I think they got better defensively in some areas, and I think they are a little bit scrappier now based off of the return that we got from Portland, and the Suns need to toughen up a little. Like, I think one of the things that I was frustrated with watching them in the postseason last year is they just look soft. Mm-hmm. Like, they were soft, and so I am excited that we have a little bit more scrappiness now. I think the sleeper in this whole deal is definitely going to be Little. I think he could have potential if they don't flip him for something else. I think he's probably could be their best perimeter defender if given that opportunity. He also shot a career best 37% from the 3-point range last season. So I think Little has a high ceiling and could be the sleeper part of this deal. So I think they are a little bit more well-rounded as a team, and I think they got scrappier. I just have to accept the fact that Grayson Allen is a Phoenix Sun.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Grayson Allen, Nassir Little is a guy that I also watched a decent amount back in the ACC. I'm a huge fan of his too. Like, that was a good get as far as I was concerned. Like, outside of obviously Nurk, who's going to be our starting center, presumably. Like, Little was what got me excited about this trade. And like, I know I've been shitting on Grayson Allen, but like at the end of the day, he is a pretty solid basketball player. Like he is an NBA basketball player.
Just a dirty little guy.
Yeah. Colts asked if we'd rather have Rudy Gobert or Nurkic. I would much rather have Rudy Gobert, to be clear.
No.
What do you mean? Rudy Gobert is the best defensive center that's been in the league in a long time. He's won multiple defensive player of the years, and that's exactly what this team would need. They didn't need him to be anything other than a rim protector. That would be awesome. But I mean,
I've had enough. I'm tapped out with controversial players. Grayson Allen is enough.
Rudy Gobert is just kind of a clown. So I, in that sense, I'd much rather have Nurkic. Like I want a guy who's just invested and not bigger than the team. But
someone in the comments, I think it was Ryan. This is the last thing I'll say before we round out the Suns conversation and move on to D-backs. He said something about, go up a little bit more, about how the Suns haven't had like a good center since Amari.
Yeah.
And I just like want to know like why the Phoenix Suns are allergic to really talented centers.
Yeah, I mean,
like what? We've been cursed with the center position. Like Amari truly is the only, right?
I mean, over the last however many years, like not a lot of teams have like really dominant centers. So there's that. But I mean, yeah, it is true. Like this has not been a franchise that's been blessed with a lot of dominant centers like some other franchises.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he was. Yeah, I don't think you could really argue with that. Like he was the best center they've had since Amari. But also like DA's that's true for like everyone on this team. Like all of them are the best at their position since those teams. Like since the 7 seconds. Like the team was bad for a really long time. So. Like you're not going to find anyone on this team in the last 20 years that was a better guard than Devin Booker or Bradley Beal probably or Kevin Durant or better forward. Like it's just kind of what happens when you're the best. You have the best team that the franchise might have ever seen.
Yeah. The last thing that we'll talk about, which I think is kind of crazy. So Devin Booker is the only person left from the 2021 finals run, which is wild to think about, that only Devin Booker remains. And there's only 4 players that are still on this team from the 2023 postseason. Devin Booker, KD, Josh, and there was one more. I lost it. But that's crazy. Only 4 players left from last season even. Like that is a overhaul of overhauls.
I mean, it is, but I think it became glaringly apparent after what happened in the postseason that was necessary.
Yeah.
You needed, like, again, it wasn't the top level talent that was the problem. It was the supporting cast, and they went and rehauled the supporting cast. And so I don't have a problem with that. New head coach too. I think, I don't know.
This is like a brand new Suns. Like I wish I could tell you what to expect out of this team, but I have no idea.
I mean, yeah, it is a brand new Suns, but at the same time, it's like it's still Devin Booker, KD, and it was the Devin Booker, KD, I guess. Everyone else is new, and Josh Okogie. So I don't know. It's gonna be fun. Like it is definitely gonna be interesting to see how they all gel because, like you said, it is a very new Suns team. So it is weird to have that much overhaul, but I'm excited about it.
It's a lot of overhaul. It makes me a little nervy. I'm not going to lie, but obviously something had to change because getting embarrassed and blown out in the postseason 2 years in a row is not something that is acceptable.
Unacceptable.
So I guess we just have to trust James Jones' vision and trust that Frank Vogel will be able to work with the roster that he's given.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But
we will.
We've got Devin Booker. We've got KD. Like, fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's going to be enough to get us to the playoffs at the very least. You get there, who knows what happens.
The last thing we'll say is Deandre Ayton posted a goodbye message last night, late last night. I think I was in bed when I read it. But he posted on Instagram and Twitter and he said, "Phoenix, grateful for the journey, for the people who supported me, cheered me on, challenged me, and helped me grow. To the fans, my teammates, coaches, and the Suns staff at the facility, office, and arena, thank you. All love for the Valley. Portland, let's go. Ready for the next chapter. Excited to be a Trailblazer." Well, thanks, DA.
Good luck, DA. Yeah.
I wish I had more of like a. I'm relieved almost that he's not.
I mean, I'm relieved that that's just over. Like, if the Suns suck this year, they're not going to have the scapegoat of DA. And I'm just really interested to see, like, were the Suns at fault? Is DA going to be able to thrive in Portland? Which, I mean, part of me is rooting for him, but also part of me is like, you don't want to be the team that traded away a really good player. But
that's what's going to happen with Tumani Kamara. Mark my words.
Oh my gosh.
Mark it right now.
I hope
the Suns are going to rue the day.
Just for you.
Rue the day they traded Tumani Kamara.
Unreal.
But yeah, I mean, good luck to DA. Good luck.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble being like, oh, I'm so bummed about this.
Well, it's yeah. I mean, ultimately it is, yeah, like Jan Paul said, it is bittersweet. Like, you would have liked it to work out better, but it did kind of run its course. So onward and upward. I
guess we'll see. I'm excited for basketball season, though. I don't think I've ever been like this excited, nervous, like anticipatory, if that's a word.
No, I mean, it's kind of been that case for the last 2 years, but now I think the pressure is really on to where this is like, it is championship or bust.
This is like it.
Now there's a certain amount of pressure, I think, on the Suns. So it is going to be really interesting to see how they respond. Like, new coach, new everything. Like, let it rip. Like, let's go.
Let it rip. Oh, Ish is the other one. Thank you, Junior. Why could I not remember that for the life of me about the 4 returners from last postseason? It was Ish. What?
Ish probably won't.
Yeah,
Ish,
I mean, I'm not assuming Ish is going to be here from us.
The roster, so we'll see. We'll see.
Well, you know who we don't have to say goodbye to?
Who's that?
Illegal Pete's Margaritas.
True.
Because they are here at all times whenever you need them during business operating hours. The Phoenix Sports Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Illegal Pete's, and let me tell you, they brought a taco bar and taquitos into the office this week.
I love the taquitos
so much. So good. The crispy taquitos, the crispy R's, so good. I died. They were delicious. Everything from Illegal Pete's is so good. It is the go-to spot for anytime you want Mexican food, honestly. Chips and queso, a strong margarita. By the way, their margaritas will have me on the floor.
Yeah, no, we were there.
I'll drink one and be done.
We were there last Saturday for the ASU game, and yeah, them boys hit.
They hit. By the way, if you happen to be an ASU fan, or I guess even if you're a Colorado fan, boo, bandwagon, we're going to be at Illegal Pete's not this Saturday, but the Saturday after, when Deion Sanders and the Buffs roll through Tempe. Our friends at DNVR are going to come down here, so all the DNVR Buffs guys are going to be here. We're going to do something fun together at Illegal Pete's. It's going to be like a PHNX Sun Devils, DNVR Buffs.
Crossover.
Brawl. No.
Yeah, brawl.
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean,
like
we'll
Anchorman style.
Yeah, Tochi's been talking a lot of shit about
Tochi has been talking a lot of shit about Deion.
They might have words.
So if you want to come hang out with us, it is free for you to come. We're going to be there about an hour and a half before kickoff. There's also going to be a post-game show there after the game. So come out, come support your Sun Devils. Make fun of all the bandwagon Buff fans that just came out of the woodwork this season because they just happen to love Deion Sanders. It's going to be great. So we'll see you there at Illegal Pete's, not this Saturday, next Saturday, an hour and a half before kickoff. Illegal Pete's is your go-to spot. Stop by for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day at all 12 locations in the Valley. Illegal Pete's, the go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer for 28 years.
Yeah.
Sean, there's the Diamondbacks.
They're a motherfucking wagon.
They're wagon.
Except for the fact that they lost yesterday.
Yeah, except for the fact that they lost to the Chicago White Sox, which they should not have lost that game. They lost 3-1 to the White Sox yesterday, and they could have clinched a NL wildcard spot yesterday if they had won, but they decided to do us all a favor and take the L so that they could clinch at home because that's what's going to happen. I am speaking it into existence. The Arizona Diamondbacks will be clinching a playoff spot tonight.
I plan on going to that game. So I'm very much looking forward to it. But I mean, LFG, baby.
LFG.
Like, let's go.
It is do or die.
I mean, they are obviously in a very good spot right now.
Which, by the way, the fact that the Marlins have jumped the Cubs brings my heart joy.
Bro, the Cubs. I mean, I was rooting for y'all. I'm not gonna lie, and I do feel very bad for Seiya Suzuki.
No, I don't. You idiot!
Feel
How
bad.
do you drop that? How do you drop the most important
I think his contact
out of a
was
game?
out. I think his contact came out because he didn't like.
Too bad. Where's some glasses?
He didn't like just miss it. Like, he looked like he thought he was gonna catch it, and then the ball was just in a different space.
I mean, I'm sure that is a terrible spot to be in, but my God, you got to make that play. That is the most important out of the game. Like,
it is,
sorry,
it's tough, but
the Cubs deserve to be out of the wild card race just for that play alone.
I mean, they didn't have a lot of reasons they deserve it. I don't think David Ross is that good of a
manager. But this is where we're sitting.
But
the Phillies have already clinched a spot. The D-backs still have the second spot. They're a game and a half in front of the Marlins, and the Marlins are just a half game in front of the Cubs. So there's a lot of movement that can still happen. Obviously,
yeah.
the D-backs are not guaranteed a spot, but I think Fangraphs had them at like a 97.3% chance of making the wild card.
Yeah,
which
they
is
have
crazy.
the tiebreaker over the Cubs, which is important because the Cubs basically are going to have to win out. But as Chris reminded us, that this is Arizona sports, so
no
nothing.
negativity.
I am not counting my chickens before they hatch.
Yeah,
like they definitely.
No, you guys, we can't do this. We're manifesting positive things.
No, I think that I feel good. I think they're making the playoffs.
They're going to make it.
But
They're clinching tonight. Tonight is the night.
They got to clinch it, though. They got to get the job done.
They have to.
Have
Zach
to
Gallen is on the mound tonight. They don't have another choice. They are going to win tonight's game, and they're going to clinch a playoff berth for the first time since 2017.
Which it would also be like, I think it's important. Like, it would be huge if they can clinch tonight, because then they can pitch. They can use their pitchers essentially however they want for the last two games to set themselves up,
which is
for
major.
the postseason. Which is major
because if they win tonight, then they can skip Merrill Kelly's spot in the lineup
and have him ready for game. Because as it stands right now, there's a chance that neither Zach or Merrill will be ready for game one of the wild card, which is obviously not a great situation to be in.
No.
You would really want to get that win. So it is very important that they do it tonight. It would have been great if they had been able to do it last night, but if they can do it tonight, it's going to set themselves up to not only obviously make the postseason, but potentially make some noise in the postseason, which of course we all love to see.
Yes. So we are going to only say good things. Charles saying 97 is not 100%. You guys, I know that this is Arizona. I'm aware that we are all Arizona sports fans, and I know that we get our hopes up just to get crushed quite often, but I'm not letting that happen. If I have to go out there and tell Tori Lavello and yell at the guys to get fired up or whatever,
that won't help at all.
Put me in the outfield. I will make them win.
That definitely won't help.
I don't care what I have to do. They are going to win tonight. They have to. They have to in order to give themselves the best chance of making it far into the playoffs.
Let's be real. Winning any of these games in the series is by no means a guarantee. They are playing a very good team in the Houston Astros, who are themselves in the middle of a pretty intense playoff race. So the games are going to matter for them. They're going to be they need these games as much as the D-backs do. The Astros currently 2 games out of the division lead in the AL West. So if they want a chance to win the AL West, they're obviously going to need a lot of help from the Rangers losing, but they're going to need to win out. They're going to need to sweep the Diamondbacks. I don't think they will. And also, they're not. I don't think they're going to get that kind of help from the Rangers. The Rangers are going to manage to win a game.
And to be fair, the Diamondbacks technically don't have to win tonight in order to clinch the spot.
True.
If they lose, but also the Cubs lose and the Reds lose, that means that they will still clinch a spot. So there is a little bit of a safety net that if the Diamondbacks lose tonight, as long as the Cubs also lose and the Reds lose too, they will still clinch a spot. But I would prefer them to win.
Yeah, just win and do it yourself. Control yourself.
Secure your own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight is going to be the best night to do it because this is our probable pitching matchup. We've got Zach Gallen on the mound tonight, and that is definitely our best pitcher for those of you who have maybe not been watching the season.
I don't know if you've been watching this team recently. I don't know that he is. He hasn't been great.
I trust him the most.
I trust Merrill more than anybody right now.
Okay.
Zach Gallen has not been good recently. Like, he hasn't. That's just, he hasn't really been, he hasn't been good. He's just not been that great, that trustworthy, outside of the 1 9-inning shutout that he had against Chicago randomly in the middle of all of that. Merrill, Chris said he's less consistent. Merrill's the most consistent pitcher they have right now. So I honestly love the idea of Merrill pitching game 1 instead of Zach, which I think is the situation they might end up being in just based off how the schedule plays out. I mean, it's still Zach Gallen, so I feel good that he's going to figure it out. But
I trust Zach Gallen.
He hasn't been that good this recently, so it would be a hell of a time to figure it out, Zach. Like, if you want to do it now and get back to being Zach Gallen, which he's going to at some point. That's not my worry. It's just that he hasn't been Zach Gallen recently. So again,
I have more faith than you do. They're going. So JP France gets the start tonight for the Astros, and then the day after that, it's Justin Verlander. So
and he's good. So
I would prefer to win tonight.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is going to be your best opportunity as far as the pitching matchup is concerned.
Yeah.
But again, we have seen plenty of bad Zach Gallen recently, so there's by no means a guarantee. Offense, it would really be nice if they wanted to show up and score runs because they have a habit of sometimes just going ghost. And not going to be able to do that against this Astros team.
That's why I'm glad the series is at home because hopefully the energy of the crowd, People will get into it. We'll give them the boost that they need.
Yeah, people are going to be looking forward to talking
It's
trash
like their
to the
home
Astros.
field. Like they're comfortable there. Everyone should be getting trash cans to bang on to make fun of the Astros, please. So I feel good. I'm glad that it's home. I trust Zach Gallen, even though you don't.
Not that I don't trust Zach Gallen. It's just that I trust Merrill Kelly more.
That's fine. But they're going to do it. They have to do it. It's going to happen tonight. And I highly recommend that you go to this game if you are listening or watching this podcast.
I'm planning on going. Haven't bought my tickets yet, but I plan on going.
Well, you know where you can buy your tickets?
Of course I know where I can buy my tickets.
You're going to have to get your tickets on Game Time.
Of course.
Everybody, get out your phones. Go download the Game Time app right now. It is America's fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason, because they have the lowest prices on tickets for anything that you could possibly want tickets to. Sports games, concerts, parking, whatever you need. Game Time's got it. And there's no better place to go than the Game Time app, especially if you download the app and use promo code PHNX, because we're going to give you $20 off your first purchase. And tonight's Game Time game of the week is the Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Houston Astros at home. Tonight's first pitch, 6:40? Yeah?
6:40, that sounds right.
I think so.
6:40.
Yeah,
Yep.
6:40 first pitch. You can get tickets to this game, you guys, right now for as low as $17.
Yeah,
$16.
$16. I'm
And
blind. Sorry, I
with
can't see.
$20 off.
You're making
You're
money.
making
Do that
money
math.
by
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Damn.
Let you figure it out.
We're basically paying you to go to the Diamondbacks game tonight with promo code PHNX. If you don't go and the Diamondbacks, for whatever reason, don't win tonight, I'm blaming you, because
Yeah.
they need butts in the seats.
And
they need fans there.
Alternatively, if you don't go and they clinch, you're going to feel like an asshole.
Yeah,
Get
because you're
there
not going
and
to be
be
there to
there.
witness history.
Mhm.
The Diamondbacks haven't clinched a playoff berth since 2017, and you're getting a chance to watch them do it tonight, because they are going to do it tonight. Basically for free if you use promo code PHNX over on the Game Time app. I'm going to be there. You're going to be there. You guys are going to be there. Studio Honest is going to be there. It is so crucial that we go. We make fun of the Astros for being cheaters. We boo them. And I think there's only 2 players on the team that are from that.
Yeah, it's like not a very. It's like that's what I was saying
but
the
it's
other
fine.
day.
They're never going to
Like,
live it down. They're
by and
never gonna live it
large,
down.
it's like all different people.
I don't care. I don't care. I will never forgive the
But
Astros.
the people that are still there are like 2 of the biggest offenders. So.
Yeah, so they can suck it. Make sure you go download the Game Time app. Use promo code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Super excited for that game.
Same.
You know what else I'm excited for, which I did not think was going to be coming out of my mouth at this point?
What's that?
Watching the Arizona Cardinals play football.
Yeah,
What?
it's been fun. Out of nowhere.
What?
It's been fun.
Who
Listen,
would've
I
thunk?
tried to tell people they were not going to be that bad. Like I didn't expect them to be the Cowboys. Don't
I
get
mean,
me wrong.
listen, that if we don't win any more games this year, honestly, whatever.
That's a
'Cause
hell of a one to win.
when the Cowboys
I'll
lose,
take it.
America wins. I will never, ever, ever, ever,
Yeah.
ever catch me cheering for the Cowboys. And the fact that the Cardinals beat them after they like rolled into State Farm Stadium, like, we're gonna beat the Cardinals, blah, blah, blah. And the Cardinals are like, psych, here's a fist in the mouth.
That was a crazy way to put that. But yeah, no, they did punch him in the face, which is what I think you were trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Nah, yeah, they came out and they shocked them. Like they kind of just took the life out of the Dallas Cowboys. It was awesome.
It was
like
awesome.
Yeah, and I think that is a real unifying thing. Like
Mhm.
I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I've always hated the Dallas Cowboys. My mom hates the Dallas Cowboys. Like if you don't love the Dallas Cowboys, you fucking hate the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
And it is always nice to beat them. And the Cardinals just kind of own the Dallas Cowboys. It's kind of like their Toronto Maple Leafs, which sign me up. Like I hate them. And if we just want to beat them every time, come on in.
Yeah.
The America's team thing is just so.
They're America's
asinine.
team because all of America hates them.
Yeah,
That is
they're
why
not
they're
America's team. There's a handful of teams you could call America's team. I would say the Lions are America's team right now. Not the Dallas Cowboys. America doesn't love the Dallas Cowboys.
Are you just saying that because you feel bad for the Lions and now
No,
that they're
I
like
feel like
mildly good?
there's always teams that the country kind of gets behind. Like I think the Bills were that like 2 years ago, but then the Bills have been good for 3 years, so people don't really care about them anymore. I think the Bengals were that like the first year that they were good, and now I feel like it's like everyone
now
like
it's the Chiefs
it's the
because
Lions.
of Taylor Swift.
No, everyone hates the Chiefs. Like Chiefs aren't America's team.
The Swifties love the Chiefs.
Yeah, most people hate Taylor Swift too.
You're about to get
Sean.
canceled.
Most-
The Swifties are about to flood
Sean.
this
Bring it the
pod.
fuck on,
No.
dog.
No.
First off,
No, you don't
First
want that
off-
smoke. You
First
don't
off-
want that smoke.
First off, I know Swifties are no joke.
They're
but,
no joke.
Uh,
Have you seen the way that they've been destroying football fans?
listen. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit about what people do on the internet. I have had messages sent to me that are way worse than any shit that Swifties are going to send to me. So I don't give a shit. First off, secondly,
Listen, we can only
whether
take
or
one
not
big
you
Twitter
hate
fight.
Taylor Swift, you cannot deny the fact that Taylor Swift is a polarizing person. There's a lot of people who like her, a lot of people who hate her, similar to Dallas Cowboys.
That's
honestly.
the exact logic that I used against somebody's little brother, and look what happened. I got shit on for like 2.5 weeks, a month, actually. Our company can only withstand one big Twitter brawl. Let's not. get
Brother,
into another
no,
one
because
with the
your
Swifties.
problem is you create the Twitter brawl. You start tweeting at strangers like a weirdo. People come on me and they call me names, and I'm like, cool, bro. I don't fucking care. I'm gonna close the app and go about the rest of my day like a normal fucking person.
All right, we've gotten so we're just gonna. It's fine. We're not even gonna get into this debate because I will.
Figure out who did this.
For real. That's okay. Don't come out here like you aren't the chief of that. Max is the most. We're trying to figure out the guy who did this. I am gonna have a Max's whole thing is about not being good at betting, and anybody he bets on loses. And then he's gonna stroll in being like, "Oh, I bet on the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight," and then the
you
Diamondbacks are gonna
guys.
lose, and Max is gonna be like, "Oh, how did this happen?"
I am very sick of seeing Taylor Swift all over my timeline too, Connor. I'm not gonna lie. But that's all I'll say about Taylor
Oh,
Swift.
she's
'cause
apparently
I'm
gonna be
not
at the
trying to
game
get
this
canceled.
Sunday, so
I know.
get ready for it again.
Gross. But yeah, so back to the Cardinals. I've literally I've never thought I would be excited to say I'm excited to watch them play football. Also, Josh Dobbs ? Or is he a good-ish quarterback?
Good enough.
Good
I mean,
enough.
he's good enough for what you need, right?
Better than what I
just-
was anticipating.
Yeah, same. It's a stopgap.
He's thrown 549 yards for 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yeah,
And he has the 10th highest QBR in the league right now.
yeah, and I think something that I've heard that, Bo and Johnny talk about on PHNX Cardinals is like Josh Dobbs has turned himself into an asset for this team.
Totally.
Like, obviously, Kyler is going to start whenever he comes back and is healthy, but there's going to be teams that are going to be able to use a Josh Dobbs, that are going to want a Josh Dobbs. And so he's turned himself into an asset for the Cardinals, which is awesome. And then again, he's made this season fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think when your team is good, not that good, and obviously not going to be competing for a Super Bowl, you just look for things to be excited about. But I think the reality is this team is like a couple of plays away from being 3-0. And if this team is 3-0 and all of a sudden you're like, Kyler's gonna come back at some point, and what can that team? I don't know. Then the season starts looking really different. But I think, yeah, Josh Dobbs has been fun. The team has been fun. They competed the first 2 weeks. They realistically again could be 3-0 right now. Now they have to go against a team that you could argue is the best team in football. So I'm not sure how this Sunday is going to look. But again, you go into this week being like, hey, we upset the Cowboys. Who knows? And I don't think there is a world in which you could have imagined you were going into this 49ers game with a little bit of a like, hey, maybe it won't be, it's not going to be embarrassing. Like, it's going to be, maybe this will be a little more fun than we thought.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Like, they gave you a reason to stay engaged until Kyler comes back. And then again, when Kyler comes back, if this team is, if this team has a couple of wins under their belt, who knows what the season looks like at that point?
Realistically, the Cardinals could be 3-0 right now. Those
Yeah,
first
exactly.
2 games were extremely winnable.
close. And like again, I didn't expect them to be the Cowboys, but they did. And I'm not expecting them to beat the 49ers.
The
But
Cardinals
even if
put
they
the
don't,
league on notice.
I think they have the Bengals the week after that. And at that point, I think you very much are starting to be in the when does Kyler come back scenario, because I think that was a point that early on, early in the offseason, we heard everything, right? We heard he wasn't going to come back at all. We heard he was going to be back for week 1. But I think October was really the area where you started being like, okay, it's a real possibility that Kyler might come back.
Yeah.
And so, but even if he's not, like, I think this team is capable of beating the Bengals.
I agree.
The Bengals have not looked good, and Kyler and Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals have. And so, especially from like Kyler's perspective, you don't really need to rush because this, I'm not sure that Kyler makes a difference for this team against the 49ers. And I'm also not sure he makes a difference in a completely different way against the Bengals. Like I just said, like I think Josh Dobbs can beat the Cincinnati Bengals. And so Kyler gets to take his time and be fully healthy and fully ready when he comes back.
Yeah.
Which I think is
They've got a very
good.
winnable schedule coming up. It goes Bengals, Rams, Seahawks, Ravens, Browns. I'm not necessarily overly intimidated by any of those.
I think those are all teams they compete with. I think those are all teams I could see them losing.
Totally.
To,
I mean,
but
for sure.
they are also.
But none of those are like tonight. Not tonight. Sunday. I'm just chalking up as an L. Like I don't see them being
the 49ers are going to be favorites against
defense.
everybody they play this year.
Yeah, the 49ers have the third best defense in the NFL and probably schematically are the best offense in the NFL too. So
yeah,
I don't see that one happening.
That's an uphill battle. But again, so was the Cowboys game. So who knows? I am still waiting for
ASU
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
I am still waiting for Brock Purdy to look like Mr. Irrelevant at some point. It's like I feel like everyone in the back of their mind
has to be studied. Like they have to do an ESPN 30 for 30 on this kid.
No, they don't. No, they don't. He's in a system where everybody has looked good. No, they don't. But at a certain point, I am waiting for him to like look bad, and he hasn't yet. But yeah, it's uphill battle this week. But after that, who knows? They might be able to string together a couple of wins, and who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean they're right. Like the Cardinals are riding a high right now. Greg Dortch, who does a podcast with us, check out All Purpose with Greg Dortch if you haven't yet, by the way, available on all podcast platforms. He, on his latest episode, was saying how, like, you know, they heard the outside noise all week. They heard people saying they're going to lose. They're going to get blown out. This is going to be a cakewalk for the Cowboys. And every single person in that locker room was like, well, this is not going to be a cakewalk. Like, we are going to make this as difficult as we possibly can for the Cowboys. Like, they all showed up with an attitude of, like, we are going to win this game. Like, it wasn't just like they admitted defeat, rolled over and said we suck.
100%. I mean,
and
if
I love that.
Yeah, if you are a team like the Cowboys or the 49ers, a team like the Cardinals is like the most dangerous team to play. They're a team that has nothing to lose and are bought in. They believe, like, they clearly are, like, seem to like playing for the Arizona Cardinals,
which, like,
they like JG.
Props to Jonathan Gannon for getting this buy-in this early on.
And that, like, that is something I don't think has been talked about enough, is that, like, JG and the coordinators, but specifically Rallis, for how good the defenses look. Like, they deserve a lot of credit for this team.
I'm sure we can credit Drew Petzing a lot to Josh Dobbs' performance too.
100%. Like, like JG and his coordinators have done a terrific job, and they deserve the bulk of the credit, I think, for this team being interesting at all right now.
Totally. Which, can you imagine this combo if we had this combo in Cliff Kingsbury?
Oh my, no.
We would not be talking about this right now if Cliff Kingsbury was still here.
Because, I mean, we've seen much worse with much better teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, like, it's so, like, it's a double-edged sword for me because I probably am going to get canceled in the comments for saying this. I'm a Caleb Williams girl. So I would prefer them not to win games.
I don't know about, I mean, I think people forgot how good Kyler is. And I think with a good coach, I think if they're going to have a top 2 pick and they only end up with 1, I think Kyler with Marvin Harrison Jr. is a pretty good situation to be in.
Yeah, I'm not there. I'm not on the same page, but that's okay.
Rookie quarterbacks are not a guarantee by any means.
I think I'm just...
Ask the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. How are you
also,
doing, Josh Rosen?
Do you really want to be the franchise that has spent a first overall pick on a quarterback 3 times in a decade?
That is kind of crazy.
Like, not just a first round pick, a first... no. Wait, I'm wrong about that, right? Why am I blanking on his name? Homeboy before Kyle.
Josh Rosen.
He wasn't first overall.
No, I think he was...
But, yeah. Still, do you want to use a first round pick, a top 10 pick on a quarterback 3 times in a decade? Absolutely not.
It was 10th. That's close.
10th? Okay. So, yeah, I think I'm pro Kyler.
I think I'm just scorned because I've seen what happens when franchises don't draft quarterbacks high in the draft and then they get stuck in the QB carousel free agency.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
debacle.
Another thing. I don't think this team is going to, like, this team is clearly, and that was always my thing, they're not bad enough to be competing for Caleb Williams. Like, when you look at what the Denver Broncos are right now, dog water. Although I also don't think they are that bad. Like from a talent perspective, there's no reason
Russell
that they should be
Wilson's
losing 70, but giving up 70 points. I don't understand that.
I think they're trying to get Van Sosa fired. That's my theory.
I think they're trying to probably tank at this point. But and then the Jets are just obviously they couldn't have expected Aaron Rodgers to do this, but I think at this point they're a much worse team. So
they're toast. So they're definitely not the worst team in the NFL. Which who would have thought last season after we lost Kyler and overhauled?
I never thought they were going to be the worst team in the NFL. I always thought that was obnoxious, but
that's fair. Ted offensive saying James Conner has been huge. Yeah, the Cardinals running game is what is saving them right now.
I was worried after week 1 because they did not get him the ball enough, and I have him on my fantasy team. But he has been. Yeah, he has been huge, right? It is awesome. Part of why Josh Dobbs has been able to look so good is because he has a tremendous veteran running back that he can rely on behind him. And so, James Conner has been big time.
Arizona currently ranks 6th in the NFL for running game, which says a lot. That is where a majority of our offense is being generated. And thank God for James Conner because he has a lot on his shoulders, and I think we're in the position that we're in because of that. So that is great. The 49ers, on the other hand, have the 3rd ranked running game. So the 49ers-Cardinals matchup is definitely going to be tough. Very, very tough for the Cardinals. That's going to be a tough one. But one matchup I am really excited to see is Paris Johnson Jr. versus Nick Bosa.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really ever excited to see anybody that I'm rooting for play against Nick Bosa. He's really good at football. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be
a test
hell of a challenge. I mean,
all right, rookie, step up, buddy.
To be fair, there was a pass rusher who's probably better than Nick Bosa on the Cowboys last week, and Michael Parsons. So it's not like him and this offensive line haven't had that challenge.
Everyone that plays for the Cowboys is a fraud. I'm sorry.
Okay, you just haven't watched Cowboys football. Michael Parsons is one of the best defensive players that have played in a very long time.
I'm just a Cowboys hater.
I know. But yeah, it is going to be another huge challenge. And Ryan's saying it's just like all the rookies that are getting valuable playing time.
Yeah, it's cool to see the rookies out there.
Very exciting.
One thing that might be a little bit of a complication is Hollywood Brown was limited in practice today with a thumb issue. He is going to be a game time decision according to Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon is going to let Hollywood Brown tell him if he feels like he's ready to go or not. And Keontae Ingram was also limited in practice today, the running back with a neck problem.
Yeah.
Not what you want to have happening to you right now as you're about to go into this matchup with the 49ers because although Keontae is obviously not RB1, he does share some of the load, and Hollywood Brown is arguably the best receiver on this roster.
I mean, I don't really think it's arguable, but yeah.
I mean, the best receiver on this roster, so
you would definitely prefer to be full strength against a team like the 49ers. So hopefully they are able to play. I mean, if it's going to be up to Hollywood, I have to imagine he's probably going to do everything he can.
Yeah, he came out with like a thumb wrapped, like his thumb looked fat. It was like wrapped with like a bunch of like white. So hopefully it's nothing too major. But
yeah, I mean, obviously if you can't catch the football, then I think he's smart enough to know like if he's hurting the team, he's not going to play. But I think if he feels like he's going to be able to contribute, he'll end up playing. Ingram is, I mean, tough, but again, not RB1. Like I think that's something that they'll be able to survive.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Hollywood loss would be huge. So hopefully he's ready by game time.
Do you have a prediction for me, Sean? Score.
48-17 49ers. I'm sorry. That's like the best team in football. They're going to destroy the Cardinals more than likely. But again, that's exactly what I said about the Cowboys, and it didn't happen. So I hope I'm wrong, but there is not very many reasons to believe that the Cardinals are going to look like this is going to be a whole different kind of challenge for Josh Dobbs specifically against this 49ers defense. Like the Cowboys defense is good, but they do not have they were missing their best cornerback, obviously, in Trey Diggs going down with an ACL injury. So it's going to be an interesting challenge.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go 49ers 45, Cards 25.
25. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a tough day for the Cardinals, but hey, who knows?
It's going to be fine. It's going to all work out. I'm just excited that we're not just so down in the dumps on this team. It's nice to be a little bit optimistic, you know?
Yeah, no, very. It is nice to, like, again, go into the week with, like, hey, we might see something positive, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're a Bears fan, for example,
Yeah. Okay.
outside of the fact that
talk
you're
about this?
playing the Broncos and
wait,
you could win this week, I guess.
Can we please
Why would
talk
you
about
care?
this?
Talk about
Jan
what?
Paul Edward Didios in the comments said Bears or Broncos. You guys, this is going to be the suck bowl. I'm predicting that the final score is a tie, 2-2. Each team gets a safety.
Well, I literally said that on Cardinals. I said a 2-2 tie.
Oh,
or
yeah.
on
It's going to be
Coyotes.
like a 2-2 tie. It's going to be the dumbest ending to a football game ever. It's going to be miserable. Like,
or it's
watching
going to be
this-
like 53-54, and there's going to be no
'cause
defense,
the defense
played.
just is non-existent.
Yeah, I mean,
It's going to be the suck bowl. Like
it is
it's-
going to be the suck bowl. There's a chance that whoever loses this game ends up with Caleb Williams. It does have tie written all over it. I think at the end of the day, the Broncos are a more talented team. They should be able to beat the Bears. The Bears are bad.
Bears are very bad. Yeah, bad
news Bears, you could say.
They are the bad news Bears. I'm very sorry to anyone that watches that game. Hopefully you have something else to do to occupy your time, because I feel like watching paint dry might be more entertaining than a football game.
Yeah, I mean,
Connor saying they should make it the Sunday night game. Yeah, they should definitely do
the fact that, well, the Sunday night game is also terrible. It's the Jets and Patriots, I think.
Oh yeah,
it's the Jets.
Who
I know
made
that
decision.
Well, that was back
But
when
I
Aaron
know,
Rodgers.
but even still,
that's why they need
Patriots?
early season flex, because there's no reason that the Bills and Dolphins should be at 10 a.m. our time, and we have to watch the Jets at prime time. It's absurd. Charles pointing out it is an all-city bowl, although I'm not sure that we're all that proud of that.
Nope.
Because those two teams are embarrassing.
That's okay. We have one really good team in our all-city network. So
the Arizona Cardinals.
If you guys want an all-city team to cheer for, we can cheer for the Eagles, which I feel like is very controversial because not a lot of people want to cheer for the Eagles.
I mean, the Eagles. Do people have problems with the Eagles?
I think it's just their fans.
Yeah,
I think it's
I mean,
the fans is the problem.
People don't really like rooting for Philly.
I
teams,
love
that's fair.
Jalen Hurts. I think he is awesome.
I love Jalen Hurts too.
If I have to pick an all-city team,
And they have my favorite Kelsey.
They do have my favorite Kelsey too. Probably because he doesn't have a shitty little brother that plays on his team.
What?
Huh?
Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes, little brother, no relation.
You think Travis Kelsey's a shitty little brother?
No, Patrick Mahomes' little brother. Never mind. Anyways.
That didn't work the way you thought it was going to. It's okay.
Anyways.
It's okay.
Well, if you're watching this weekend's football games and you are forcing yourself to watch the Bears and the Broncos, you might want to do so while take some OGs.
Yes.
Because I think taking OGs is the only way you're going to be able to make it through watching that absolute shit show that is going to unfold. I feel like the multi-flavor bag is the best way to go. Yeah,
just reach in, grab some.
just grab,
Who knows?
it's like a surprise. You
Yeah.
might get a cream, you might get a fruit. You don't know what you're going to pull out, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the
gotta get
game.
high.
You have no idea what you're going to get.
But it's good because the
But
fruits.
unlike the game, you're gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, you will enjoy OGs. I can promise you that. With the fruits, you get red apple, watermelon, and peach. And the creams, you get blackberries and cream, orange creamsicle, and peaches and cream.
Peaches and cream, dog.
So good. You might also opt for the Happy Balance option, which is strawberries and cream, and it's a THC CBD combo, which I think honestly might be your best option, especially actually that's for Cardinals fans.
Yeah.
You're gonna want some Happy Balance this weekend, Cards fans.
Yeah. Calm yourself down a little bit with CBD.
Yeah. Check out our friends at OG's Brands for yourself and try one or a few of their many delicious flavors. Check them out on all socials at OG's Brands and online at ogsbrands.com to find them at a local dispensary near you. You must be 21 years or older to enjoy it responsibly. I just lost all English speaking capabilities right there. Also, it is football season and there is no better beer to enjoy football season than a nice cold Four Peaks brew. My favorite is the Hazy IPA. I am a Colorado girl, so IPAs are my go-to, which some people judge me for, but I don't really care because
I love a good IPA.
the Four Peaks IPAs are elite, especially the Hazy IPA. Hop Knot is a close second. Your favorite Four Peaks beer, Sean?
I mean, where am I? Like, is it football?
Yeah, we're watching football.
Oh,
Kilt Lifter?
Kilt Lifter. I was gonna say, yeah, that's probably a good football beer. We had someone on the Sun Devils show, a guest from California, and he pointed out the
Kilt Lifter.
Yeah.
All right. It is under 100 degrees.
It is.
So that means it is fall in Arizona. It is a crisp, cool 98, which means it's fall and pumpkin porter season is here. The pumpkin porter beer is so, so, so good. I can only have one at a time because it's very heavy for me on my little small body, but they are so good. Definitely recommend the pumpkin porter. They are to die for, and it's pumpkin porter season. Visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers near you, as well as brewery tours and events. They have Oktoberfest coming up. The Haunted Brewery tours are about to start, which are really exciting. PHNX went to one last year and it was awesome. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub on social to keep up with the latest. At Arizona's hometown brewery, you must be 21 years or older to drink Four Peaks. Please drink responsibly.
Woo woo.
Travis in the comments saying Arizona 27, San Francisco 24.
I respect the confidence.
Wow. Okay, Travis. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and I'm going to @you on social media if this actually happens to give you your props.
Yeah, bet on it.
Yeah, you never know. Any fun plans this weekend, Sean?
Baseball game tonight, ASU football game tomorrow, and just baseball all weekend.
I love that for you. All the sports. I will also be at baseball all weekend, and you better be at baseball all weekend because the Arizona Diamondbacks are WAGON, and they are going to be clinching that.
Speaking of a WAGON, go to the PHNX locker and get a new WAGON shirt.
Yeah, we just dropped a new shirt and it's sick.
It goes hard.
It is great to support the Arizona Diamondbacks with this brand new shirt because it is gorgeous and beautiful and amazing. It's probably one of my favorite shirts we've ever.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big WAGON guy.
Yeah.
So I love seeing a phrase I say all the damn time on a shirt.
Yeah. You kind of made that into existence.
Yeah, I keep getting credit for that and I appreciate it. I didn't even fully realize that I was responsible for it, to be honest. I just say shit all the time.
Well, I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. While you're over there grabbing a shirt, make sure you sign up to be a diehard. Diehards get 20% off merch at all times, access to tickets first, and discounts on tickets. You also get access to our diehard only Discord, which we are all talking in all the time, and a ton of other great benefits. So don't forget to sign up to be a diehard. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe weekend. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you next Friday at 12:30. Bye.